Welcome to our thought for the day for Friday the 19th of March. Our reading today is from Matthew chapter 13 verses 54 to 58. He went to his hometown and began teaching the people in their synagogue in such a way that they were amazed and asked, "Where did this man get this wisdom and these miracles? This is the builder's son, isn't it? His mother is named Mary, isn't she? His brothers are James, Joseph, Simon and Judas, aren't they? And his sisters are all with us, aren't they? So where did this man get all these things?" And they were offended by him. But Jesus told them, "A prophet is without honour only in his hometown and in his own home." He did not perform many miracles there because of their unbelief. So Jesus lived in Nazareth for most of his life, in his time when he was with his earthly family working as a carpenter. And in the Gospel reading, Jesus has now left and started his ministry. He began teaching and performing miracles. He'd recently healed the men possessed by demons, and here he returns to his hometown, only to discover that the people refused to believe that he was the Christ. The phrase familiarity breeds contempt comes to mind in how they responded to him. They'd have seen Jesus growing up. They'd have become used to him as Jesus the carpenter. They probably have done business with him and seen him in the workshop, out and about with his family. And yet here he is in the synagogue teaching them, and he was probably challenging them. They did not hear and believe his message because they could not see beyond the man, so much so that they were offended that this carpenter was challenging them with spiritual truth. How often do we not see the obvious, even when it is right under our nose? The Bible has lots of examples of this. Eve failed to believe God, and the whole world was cursed. The world itself failed to believe God's word through Noah and was destroyed through the flood. Israel refused to believe God and wandered 40 years in the desert, and then again refused to believe God and was ultimately scattered throughout the earth for centuries. I'm sure we're all guilty of not seeing what is under our noses in our own lives. I can't be the only man who doesn't always fully appreciate how blessed they are by their wonderful wife. But how do we break the cycle of familiarity and see afresh the blessings we have been provided with? But are we also similar to those Nazarenes in our spiritual lives? Does our familiarity with Jesus reduce his impact on our lives? The last line of the passage we've just read I find simply astonishing. He did not perform many miracles there because of their unbelief. Lack of faith blinds people to the truth and robs them of hope. Those in Nazareth that day missed out on the Messiah. And this makes me question if my own belief is strong enough and evident enough to others. What am I missing out on in my faith life through my own shortcomings? In the latest video in Pete Gregg's brilliant series on God on Mute, even Pete said at times that he struggles with his faith. He sees himself as a doubting Thomas. But his faith shines like a beacon to me. I always find the period of Lent and then the Easter weekend recenters and builds up my faith. The period of reflection focuses my mind and reminds me of exactly what Jesus did for us. This Lent I am feeling truly blessed because the course and our sermon series on answered prayer is utterly inspiring in how we look at those 4 days of the Easter story. And I'm also feeling blessed as I'm one of those helping Christopher on our online Alpha course, which we've been running for 8 weeks now. It is a wonderful course, and it is helping me to look anew at the world, despite it being so topsy-turvy at the moment. So the question for today is, how does my faith measure up? Can I see God's work around me? Am I looking at the world through eyes of faith, or am I looking with tired eyes, unable to see beyond the familiar, only seeing what I've always seen? Have a wonderful Friday and a wonderful weekend.